Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Come on and shout it. I talk, you talk, we talk. Women talk life. It ain't no surprise. Baby, you could see if you would open up your eyes. You won't understand if you can't open up your mind. So let's stop wasting time when women talk live.
And welcome to Women's Talk Live Overnights. I'm your girl, April J.
I'm your girl, SassyScribe.
And this is Boogie.
In the car, y'all. In the car.
Always on the grind. That's our grind lady. Always on the grind.
Yep. All right. So today we're gonna be talking about be his piece, not his piece. Like piece of ass. Okay.
What do the kids do now? What do the kids do now?
Yeah,
That's the new thing.
Yo, I just saw that done yesterday. My girlfriend had a birthday party for her son, and I did the setup for the cupcakes and stuff. And she came. She was like, "Yes." I was like, "What the hell is it?" I was like, "Okay, I think that's a good thing."
It is. It is a good thing.
Yeah.
It's used in every aspect. When it's good, when you get red, it's like you got clocked.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I told my daughter, I said, yeah.
Girl, it's always something. I gotta keep my ear to the ground.
I know.
I got to.
I mean, my youngest daughter, she can just be sometimes a smart ass. So she be like,
I wonder who she gets that from.
Yeah, I know. I know. All right, so I'm gonna give some little known facts before we get into the show today. Number one, men tend to know they're falling in love after 3 dates, while women usually realize it around date 14.
What?
Yeah.
I would disagree.
3 dates. Well, I believe when men know, they know. Yeah. I do honestly believe that, because I remember my cousin had a whole plethora of ladies, but when he brought his wife around us, he introduced her as his future wife, and he had never done that. Yeah. Never. Oh. And I think they've been married almost 20 years now.
Wow. Yeah.
He was a hoe.
I was just thinking, I thought it took women longer.
It did. She said 14 days.
14. Oh. I don't know.
Because we're always taught the whole romance and waiting for the white knight and shine. You know what I mean? And shining armor. We're always been taught to buy into that dream. So I would think that we would tend to do it earlier.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, for me, I didn't love my husband until after I had my first daughter. We were already married.
Damn.
I cared about him. But
I think about it,
I really didn't want to get married. So after I had my daughter, and then then I started having feelings, and then that eventually went to love. I can't say on his side when but that's when I felt it.
So I think about, because this when I was reading over the notes and everything, I thought about this. Like, if I think really, really hard, the last time I was like in love, where I was gut wrenching and made me cry, was with my high school sweetheart. And I've had love for a lot of people, and I love people, but I think if they were to leave me, I don't know. Like, even my last relationship, when he walked away, I didn't even cry. I was hurt, but I shed not one tear.
Wow.
Was it love, or was it? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. Now here's another which kind of really confused me, but studies show that men are more likely to say "I love you" first in a relationship, even though women tend to feel love sooner. So I'm like, okay, men say "I love you" first, but if we feel it sooner, but the last date says, like date 14,
and them at date 3.
Right.
Yeah. So I guess men tend to say I love you early. I don't know. I mean,
I know that the ones I was in a relationship with, they said it first, not me.
I'm
I
trying to
can't
think.
even remember. I mean,
Yeah,
I know I
I'll,
didn't.
I'll,
I know I didn't say I love you until way later. I don't even remember if he even said it. I
Her
really
oldest
don't.
was 15 when she said it. No, that's just a joke.
Not that late, but I'm just saying I'm not one to really say it that much. I mean, I say it to my kids, and I say it to my mom because my mom is very affectionate and emotional. My dad really isn't. Like me and my dad. My dad didn't really start saying I love you until, well, dang, my dad is almost 80. He's been saying probably in the last year and a half.
oh shit.
So, but I don't say it. I mean, even
But
in
is
the
that
relationship
that's
I'm in
because
now,
he's
I
in
don't
like
say it.
the
Yeah.
it's
But
like
I
he's
mean, that
in
kind of buys
the
in.
afternoon of his life, maybe that's why he's saying it. You know what I'm saying?
There you
My
go.
dad's just
As he's
hard.
getting older, he's getting older, because it's true, as men get older, they get more estrogen, we get more testosterone. So it kind of
I think it
changes a
more.
little.
I think it more or less had to do with my daughters, because my daughters are like,
Also,
he says they'll say it to him, and I guess he wasn't used to me really saying it, so
Mm.
he'll say it to them. But my dad is just not one to show emotions. That's where I get it from. So my dad just not an emotional person at all. Like
does
things
he
can
show
happen.
emotion to the girls though?
Yeah, he does. I mean,
Yeah,
he's a
so
little
he is emotional.
affectionate, but not
Hmm.
like overly like my mom is. Like my
Okay.
mom is like super. Sometimes I'd be like, "Ma, please," but but I mean, him, he like he'll hug them and all that stuff, but it's not where it's over and abundant. So he's not
Okay.
like my dad doesn't show a whole lot of emotions. Like even like when like his brothers passed, I didn't even see him cry. I mean, he was just kind of like, okay. It was
Okay.
kind of like it happened. But and then but his brothers are like that too. Like they all like that. So even my
It's
one
probably
aunt.
a cultural, how they were raised type of thing,
Well, the
in terms
thing
of
is,
stereotypes.
for the most part, my it was 10 of them, and for the most part, most of them grew up in orphanages because the
Oh,
state
wow.
came in
Oh,
like my grandmother had a nervous breakdown, and my grandfather was in the military, so he was gone. So the
Well, that
state
makes
came
sense. She had
in.
10 kids by herself.
Yeah, so when the state came in, it kind of broke them up and put them in orphanages. But my dad's sister, my grandmother ended up sending her to her brother and her sister in another state, and had them raise her because she didn't want her. She did not want her to be in an orphanage because she was a girl. But my
Okay.
dad, like
wow.
for the most part, my dad grew up in an orphanage. He would run away every weekend to go back home, and they knew where he was, so they went and got him. They let him. After a while, they just
And
let him
bring him
stay
back.
and then bring him back. So my dad, when he turned 18, he went into the military because after that, at 18, they kicked you out.
Yeah. Age
Right.
out.
So at
You
that
age
point,
out of the
like,
system at
yeah.
18.
So when it comes to emotions and all that stuff, he just that's and even all of them, it's just not them at all. It's not them at all. So um,
I mean,
Well, that's funny. My mother was one of 11, and her mother left, and my grandfather raised 11 kids, 10 kids by herself. When she left, she took the youngest with her and left all the other kids with my grandfather,
wow.
uh,
Yeah.
which is really unheard of back in the day of a man doing that.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Because my mom, it was seven of them, but my grandmother was very affectionate and
Hmm.
nurture them. But her father, with my grandfather, he was not like, he was very stern. He was not an emotional person at all. Like half the time, like if it was only certain of us that can go and like hug him or even kiss him on the cheek, but outside of that, he was not like he. I've never ever once. I saw my grandfather cry one time, and that's when his youngest brother died. and he basically raised him because his father was shot and killed when he was younger, and he had to be the father of the house. He, because he was the
Wow.
oldest. So that was the only time I seen him kind of like shed like one or two tears, but outside of that, never once saw him cry.
Wow.
And I think
But
So
that's a great
that
segue
ties
into our
into,
conversation,
yeah,
though.
that's what I'm
yeah.
thinking, yo, the whole time. I'm sitting here thinking that right there explains a lot, not just about, the duality of their range of emotions, but the ability for them to express those emotions. Like,
Hmm.
you know, we
Yeah.
showing love to the brothers today, just so FYI.
Yeah.
All right, Kim, I'll let you go. Take it away.
Take it away, Kim.
Well, we want to talk about the fact that, we want to be, you hear a lot of people talk about peace, be my peace, or I want to be his peace. And we really want to, kind of deep dive the difference between being his PIECE versus being his PEACE. And those are drastically different, because we live in a world where black men are constantly vilified and marginalized in ways that, even, as black women, we aren't on that same spectrum because the expectations for men and women from a societal standpoint are different. And so in order for us to have healthy relationships, we really have to be able to create safe spaces for the men in our lives, be it our sons, our brothers, our fathers, our uncles, even our just male friends, our husbands. It's really important for them to be able to grasp their mental health and feel they have a haven from the storm, so to speak. And that goes to a lot of stereotypes of how black men are perceived as aggressive. They have this bravado and this machismo kind of, along the lines that Latino men have. But I would say it's drastically different because they're never looked at as men, even from, arriving on the shores of America. Their bodies are considered valuable. Their sexuality is, what's the word I'm looking for? Their sexuality is
Challenged.
capitalized. Yeah, and challenged, exactly.
Mhm.
And then to be in an environment where you have to see things happen to your children or to your spouse, and there's nothing you can do about it. And now you fast forward to here and now, under the auspices of you can't even live in the house with your children if you don't make enough in order to sustain the house, and the woman needs to get on subsidy. You're no longer able to stay in the house. So now they've separated you from your family and they don't pay you enough to get back in the house. So what are they to do? So it's just a lot. So I thought we should really talk about, what goes on in our lives for the men in our lives and what that looks like for them, and how a lot of the economy really changes because women are more aggressive and assertive, all of those trigger words, because we've had to be because of the dichotomy of men not being in the house and so on and so forth. So I thought we should address that.
Yeah, we've had to sit in our masculine energy for so long,
Mhm.
especially single parent households.
Hmm.
The ladies have to just really rest with that. So when I hear men saying that women aren't the three F's, fit, fine, and feminine being that number one, that they're not allowed to be feminine, they're not afforded to be feminine, they aren't given the grace to be able to be soft and bask in that femininity. And you can see a difference in a woman who is firmly, like, I am in my masculine energy because I have to handle everything around here.
Mhm.
But
Hmm.
when I have company that I trust, you know, there's a completely different sassy that people, as a matter of fact, sassy goes away
Mhm.
in that
So
in that instance. Huh?
and Sandra comes.
Yeah, Sandra comes out because then I'm able to be, to be me. I can be the nurturer that I know that I am and sit in that softness that I want to be in.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And I think
That,
So,
men
yeah.
feel the same way. Like, I think,
yes,
that bravado that they have to express outside, like, they have to have a space to come and take that armor off. They have to have a space where they can come and get bandaged and fed, and where you can tend to those wounds so that they can go back out. And we only talking about men. Let me just stipulate this. For
right.
years, when I used to teach men who were incarcerated, I used to always ask the question of, how many men do I have in here? And of course, everybody's hand goes up. And I used to always say, I see a lot of M&Ms. And those were males masquerading as men, because there's a drastic difference between a male and a man. A man has a job description that gets fulfilled. A male is just biologically, anatomically,
Anatomically.
yes, male. And there's a difference. So for this, I'm only defending the men. The males who choose to leave, who aren't weak enough to stand, who are, who have their own issues that they choose to, circumvent over the needs of the people that they're supposed to protect, provide, so on and so forth. They're not a part of this conversation. So,
Profess, protect, plan,
and
and
provide.
provide.
Yes, and those things are
Yeah.
important, because as women, when you talk about sitting in your masculine energy, it really has to be the duality. It really has to be that yin and yang. Like, we can both grind, but even when you look at the dynamics of a household or a business, there has to be somebody where the buck stops with, because that's the person, when if shit hits the fan, that's who it's going to come to. And 9 times out of 10, if you're in a relationship with a man, it tends to be him. And so those decisions, those things weigh heavy. You know that, because when you're in a place as a single woman, or you're, making moves outside of just being a wife or a significant other, you have to have that masculine energy. And you know how heavy that feels to carry all the time, to have to always, you got to defend this, not just from being women, but from being women of color. There's
Yeah.
so many things that we have to overlook and nullify, and just to get through the day. So can we imagine, as women, what our men go through, and then what they have to face when they come home? Like, as soon as they come home, people want to talk about, women want to talk about, oh, well, this happened, this happened, this happened. You're just unloading, but you haven't had a chance to let him unload. And there are things that he needs to get off his chest, and those are things that he really has to be in a space to say, with knowing, I should say, that it won't be thrown up in his face later, or you're weak, or you're this, or you cried over this, or no, you can't do that. That's not how we should handle them, because they're human. I always say, things aren't just male or female. Women cheat, men cheat. Women lie, men lie. We women feel sad, men feel sad. Women get depression, men get depression. It's a lot. Like, it's nothing that happens in a vacuum. And I just really want our brothers to be able to mentally be in a space where they can be what we need them to be, and be replenished within that space as well. So,
I don't
Yeah.
think that I don't think, and even to the fact that when he does come home, sometimes he don't want you to say anything. He just needs to
mhm,
decompress. If that means he needs to go in his room, if he got a basement, a man cave, wherever it is, give him that opportunity to. Because I don't want you to ask me a whole lot of questions when I get home. I'm
mhm,
tired. I done took my bra off on the way home. Like, I want
mhm.
to get in the house and I just want to decompress
How many
before
people
we
sit
have
in
Yeah.
that
the car?
conversation.
Yeah, I
Yep.
know. And I guess days were a little different for me, because the buck didn't stop with my ex-husband. It stopped with me. Because I controlled everything in that house, the kids, the bills,
Well,
the
we did say
decisions
male
and
versus
everything.
men.
No,
So,
I get that, but what I'm saying is that I had to do it. It's not that I
mhm,
wanted to do it. I
Yeah,
had
it
no
was a
choice.
necessity.
I had to step up and do that.
mhm.
Because of the dynamics of the marriage. Um and when he got home, I pretty much, usually it was late. Sometimes it was late. I already had the kids in bed. Dinner was cooked for him so he can come in and eat. And either I was upstairs working or I was asleep because I was tired, because I used to get up 3 in the morning to go to work. So when we did have conversations, um, I let him talk. I didn't like go back and forth or whatever. I rarely even talked about anything about me. I rarely did, because I knew the type of person I was married to. So, and I realized that he had to have some type of outlet where he could talk. So I let him talk. Sometimes I would say something, sometimes I wouldn't, because half the time I didn't want to talk. So I was just like, I didn't want to hear shit. I really didn't. But I let him talk. So I mean, but one thing I can say is that when you said that, not throwing stuff up in their face, for me, if I forgive you for something, you ain't gonna ever hear it from me again. That's it.
Mhm.
No, no, like, because I kind of put myself in that situation and like, okay, if you forgave me for something, why are you throwing it up in my face? If
Right.
you
Right.
ain't never forgive me. So for me, like, yeah, I forgive you, and it's gonna take me a while to forget it, but I'm not gonna continue to let it be
Let it
this
fester.
long poster in front of your face. I'm not gonna do that. That's just not me. But I have heard some marriages where the man will do something or whatever and will say something or whatever and then apologize. And the woman, the next argument they have, she's bringing it up again, or she constantly brings it up. So it's like, okay, at some point, ladies, if you're not going to forgive, then don't say shit. Just say, you know what? I can't forgive you right now. It's going to take me a while. Be honest, be upfront, but to sit there like, oh yeah, I forgive you, but then you really don't forgive them, then they looking at you
But
like, okay, you ain't the person
but
I that I thought you were.
when I think
And
about that, when you're not just for me, when I'm not forgiving, I can't be around you. So me not being able to forgive you means I'm never going to be able to trust you, which means we can't work this out
Mm,
because it's always top of mind for me what happened. And then to your point, to both of y'all points, when you said that you can't throw stuff at them, throw it back up in their face,
Mhm.
I will never tell you anything again. If you threw whatever I said to you, if you threw it back at me and in anger, you
mm,
will never get the same me
mm-hmm.
telling you anything. And that's not just for
Agreed.
men,
Agreed.
because I have a family member that I know certain things I can say to them and certain things I can't, because they are very, very versed
Mm,
in getting mad and
right.
throwing it in your face and
Right.
then wanting to call you up on the phone and apologize later. I'm like,
Exactly.
nah, I'm
Yeah, yeah,
I'm cool.
yeah.
I'm
I'm the
cool.
same
So
way.
no.
I'm the same way. I
But
mean, it already takes me a while to trust people. So once you lose
right,
it, that's it.
right.
Like, I'll forgive you, but you ain't got to ever worry about me again, ever.
yeah, and I think
But
the
the
whole concept of being with, like we were talking about having relationships in terms of just our dynamic, black women, black men, um, that even from a statistical standpoint, they make us look bad. Like they talk about how many black men are married to others, but the statistics show, like from the U.S. Census, that 85% of black men are married to black women. That they
yeah,
create households that they stay in. That it's not a 4-to-1 ratio. Like there are 88 men for every 100 women. So it's not like we have a tendency, we look for certain things, you know, broad shoulder, those things that we look at in terms of just genetically to make sure that we're secure, so on and so forth. But I also wanted to address that suicide is the third leading cause of death for black men. The third leading
mm,
cause. And we hear about, gun violence and things like that. But in addition to heart disease and those medical conditions, what it would take, the pressure that somebody must be under in order to take their own life must be extreme.
unbearable.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine. And
Right.
I just want to talk, when we talk about, the forgiveness and throwing up, we can do a whole show on forgiveness, forgive and forget.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that those safe spaces have to be able to be given to both sides, because once trust is broken, you really, it's not just about, okay, I'm gonna change my ways. Like you say, like Sassy, you said you're not the same person. Not that person has to relearn that whole situation because now
Yeah.
boundaries have shifted. So what
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
I thought was my perimeter, where I was safe within these boundaries, I've now been realized that those perimeters are no longer safe for me to reside in. And so I
So
have
you
to
got to
move
redraw the
differently.
lines.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And so now when we're redrawing boundaries, it's hard to have that perimeter that was, surveilled. This is my perimeter. And you like, nah, like I can't go over there no more. It ain't safe over there no more.
Right,
Like,
right.
I gotta let me stay right here. And so that tug of war happens while, I said the perimeter was safe. Well, you said it. You said a lot of things had me thinking the perimeter was safe, but what you didn't tell me was this was in the perimeter, and I should have known that was in the perimeter because then I could have prepared myself.
Yeah.
Then I wouldn't have been so scared when the boogeyman jumped out or whatever happened in that regard. But I just that goes for both of us and for men and women. And that masculine energy, it has to be men have to understand that we can't give it up if we can't believe you're going to be there to pick up the slack, and we have to create a space for them to be able to pick up the slack but also to put it down.
Right.
That's why when I hear men talk about, especially, I hate the term, but these are the terms that are out here now. These broadcasters and the manosphere, when I hear them talking about every negative aspect of a woman's, particularly black women, right? I'm wondering what was their upbringing? What was their relationship with their mother? What was their relationship with their siblings, their female cousins, their aunties? What is it within them that makes them, and I'm gonna be honest, brothers, you're not gonna like it, that makes y'all not like us? I don't want to say hate because hate is strong, but y'all talk as if you don't anything about us. Our very presence seems to disturb your spirit in such a way that we are always denigrated and always talked negatively about from this broadcast, these broadcasters in this bubble in the podcasting space. And it's a lot of them. You got the famous ones that I'm not going to name, but it's a lot of them. I had a girlfriend who was harassed so bad on her YouTube page by black men that she had to shut her page down.
Oh wow.
And she wasn't saying anything negative. She was being accountable. And I think and one of the statistics that you had put in the notes, Kim, was like the stereotypes where black men always have to be strong and they're not able to be vulnerable. But that goes to historical racism because
Yep.
a strong black man had to be broken.
He's a threat.
He's a threat. He's a threat.
Yep.
And they had to break him in front of everybody.
Yep. Rape his
You
woman in
know,
front of him.
the women and the children, and then it goes back to that other point that you put, that they're afraid of being judged. I've had men cry in my presence, which at first, I'm not gonna lie, it was surprising, but it also let me know that they felt safe enough with me
Hmm.
to be able to do that. And I felt good about myself for being able to create a safe space. And I've had men that I've dated, men I've been in relationships with, all of them at some point have shed a tear or two and shared their sadness with me. And
Right.
and my
Safe
number one
space,
thing to
sassy.
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
but my number
I've
one
been
thing
there.
to them is that they need therapy. That's one of the things
Yes.
our black men seem to buck, is that they think they can handle it themselves. And I'm like, brothers, for as strong as y'all are, you really need to talk to somebody. And I recommend you find a black male
Thank you,
therapist.
because they exist. Stop thinking
They
that only white
exist.
men are therapists. Like that's
Yeah.
not true. You have a
White
whole
men, white women, Latino, you need black. I think black women need black women. I think black men need black men.
Yeah.
And there are different types of therapy.
mm,
They have trauma therapists that can help y'all deal with this PTSD, because
yep.
as black people, as we're witnessing what's going on now in the nation's capital, we live in a constant state of trauma for the last 400 years.
Facts.
A
Yeah.
constant state of trauma.
Yeah.
Just when we think we can relax, more bullshit happens.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's I tend to be around a lot of males. Um, Even the place that I cigar lounge where I go, most of the time I'm the only woman in there,
Hmm.
and they, if for the most part, they always feel safe. They say whatever around me, and it doesn't bother them. Or they'll be like, but I notice if there may be another woman in there, they'll tend to be a little bit more, not
Reserved.
say as much, but they'll talk any type of way around me. But that's just because for me, I don't have no judgment. But the
Right.
one biggest thing I hear black men say, especially in those settings, is that there's no gratitude. Like they feel like women don't appreciate some of the things that they actually do, like um just a simple thank you. Like for me, like if somebody does something and
Hold the
it's
door.
kind of like,
It's
yeah,
simple.
it's like a thank you. Oh, thank you. Or thank you. Or if like my significant other, if he does something, I not just looking at it as, oh, that's what he's supposed to do. No,
Right.
I show some gratitude and say, you know what, thank you. I do really appreciate that. Or, even if it's the simple things. But I feel like if black men feel like for once they are appreciated, or they feel like you're grateful for, or even thankful, or even like just something where they feel like, oh, okay, I'm not a
Mm.
dumbass
I'm
or
not
something
doing
like
this for
that.
nothing.
Right,
Right.
exactly. So I mean,
But
sometimes they just want that.
I think that is also incumbent upon us to teach that to the young ladies.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Because we
Right.
grew up, I remember growing up, and I have older siblings. So I was around my older siblings, my older cousins. And then when I say older, they were well into their 20s when I was like a early teen, right? And I heard the things about, he got to pay for XYZ, he got to do this, and if he ain't giving up money, then you shouldn't have any time. And takes a long time to get that out of a
Hmm.
lot of women's mindset, that
Mm-hmm.
the relationship is transactional,
Right.
you know? So if he's giving me A, then I'm going to give him B.
Right.
And I never, to this day, my sister gets upset with me because I don't ask men for money. I really don't ask them for anything.
Me
Hmm.
either. I've
Me
never
And,
either.
done
that,
I
and
don't.
it's something about, I can't crack my lips to say, I need help with XYZ. I just can't. And I get fussed at by my friend. He's like, well, why
I
ain't you
thought it
ask
was
me?
just
I'm like,
me. Yeah, I mean, I
and
get
I'm
the
like,
same thing. It's just like, and I really had to think about this, and I said, you know what, it's something that I have to really kind of work through, because even he
yeah,
would say to me, like, listen, if we're in this together, we're a team. Like, why would you feel like you can't come to me, like, or whatever? He was just like, he said, if I ask you for something, you go and do it. I said, because that's just the type of person. But he was just
Mm.
like, why would you think I wouldn't do that for you? And I
right.
had to really sit down and really think about that. And it's like, you know what? I have to get out of that mindset of feeling like I had to do everything, because I mean, for the longest time, that's what I had
You
to
What
do.
you
did.
did.
That was a
So
reality.
it was just like, okay, now being with a person who's not like that, I have to really kind of say to myself, you know what? It's okay if I need help. It's
Mm.
okay. It's not a stigma. It's not,
I'm
oh,
not
oh,
weak.
right. And so I have to, and I'm still working. Trust me, I'm a
Yeah,
work
it is.
in
It is
process.
it's a work in
Yeah,
progress because
right. So,
I just got tires on my car and it was like, "Do you need any help?" I was like, "No, I got it." Like, I'm offended that you asking if I need
But
any help.
then,
Like, I couldn't afford it, but then, like you said, April, I had to sit with it. Like, he
yeah,
was offering.
right.
And my sister was like, "Why ain't you say yes?" I'm like, it just my and
I
my baby
can't.
sister's like, every time they ask, the answer's always yes. Do you need help? Yes. Do you need money? Yes. I said that's not it's not
Yeah,
Yeah.
me.
it's
It's just
hard.
not
It's
me.
hard. It's
It's just
hard.
not me. But
Oh my gosh.
since we're talking about this and we're talking about these brothers and being his piece and not his piece, it's a
Yeah.
lot of good brothers out here that are
Oh
doing
yeah,
exactly what they're
absolutely.
Amen.
supposed to be doing. And
Absolutely.
I don't
And
think that's
give him a
amplified.
piece. We not saying that. We not saying don't give him a piece. We
No,
just
no,
saying
no.
give him a piece with his piece.
Right.
With his piece. But what I'm saying is this: I don't want people to misconstrue that we're trying to say anything negative about black
No,
men. What we're
never.
saying is that it is a lot of really good black men out here. And listen, they're just as tired as we are when it comes to
Yeah.
dating.
Amen.
They're tired of these transactional women who are too damn good to go to Applebee's or Chili's, and their asses is riding the fucking bus.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Not
it's a
just that.
it's a
They try
delicate
to have
balance
the
that we have to walk.
code switch. Can you imagine? Like, I've worked in corporate America, I've worked in nonprofit areas, and to be able to see the ability of code switching that black men have to do versus when I see them in a boardroom versus seeing them in a bar room, and how they interact with their bros is a lot different than how they have to interact. It's like they put women and the boss of, whatever Fortune 5 that they're in the same category. It's like they can't let that guard down. And it's amazing. Like, it's amazing to me in terms of just being able to look at that and for them to be able to keep their sanity and then to come home. And like we were talking about, we don't, it's hard for us to ask for help. And we're the ones who are in a position where stereotypically we should be the ones who are in need and so feeble and need those helps.
Right.
And we can't even do that. So can we imagine what it must be like for them to have to do that and then never have a place for them to be like, damn, I'm tired, or oh damn, this really hurt my feelings, how I thought I was cool with these people, and then this happened or whatever, I didn't get the promotion. Like, yeah, like they have to be able to.
And
That's
then
how we have better relationships.
that's
Yeah.
part of that whole
Relationships.
process of them and their emotional well-being and whatnot, and them being able to, speak the truth about their feelings without being called a punk or a bitch. I watched and y'all know I love my reality shows, so I watched this reality show
Yes.
where I watched this white woman. I don't think she was like 100% white. Maybe she was Arab. She's an Arab woman. She called this brother a bitch, a punk ass bitch, a pussy ass bitch on national television. And all I could think about is imagine if that brother had turned around and called her a bitch.
Mm.
What if he had turned around and said, suck my ass? You know what I'm saying? What if he had said anything negative to her? Can you imagine? It didn't get picked up on national news. It just got picked up in the podcasting space of media. But can you imagine? She emasculated this man. She literally emasculated him on national television, and everybody called everybody else bullies.
Wow.
Everybody called everybody else bullies. And
And
we
to know
watched
that going
her.
in, know that
Huh?
going, you know what I mean? Because he understood that going in. Like, he understood if
He
he showed who
didn't,
he.
because I don't think it took him by surprise. You could see the expression on his
No, I
face.
mean him having to hold it in. He understood he
Yeah,
had to
yes,
hold
yes,
that in
yes,
on
yes, yes,
national
yes,
TV
yes,
because
yes.
he
He
bore the brunt of
understood.
the race. You feel
He
what I'm
he
saying?
understood. He
Yeah.
understood. And I think that's the other thing when we see people, especially black people in television, whether it's reality or in the news or whatever, it's a certain line that we know that we can't cross because we'll
Yep.
come across as, angry or mean or, something like that. So that also plays into the emotional well-being, especially for men, because men, whether y'all want to believe it or not, y'all are a hell of a lot softer than y'all want to admit. Your ego gets crushed a lot. Listen, every woman on this platform has had their heart torn out, burnt, stomped on, put back in, pulled out again 20 times. Y'all get it one time.
Yeah.
It's a wrap for all of us.
All right.
All of
So we're gonna end it there.
us. Oh, I'm sorry.
No. You're fine. You're fine. I mean, like, this is definitely a bigger conversation.
It is. It is.
But I
Maybe we can
want to.
invite some men on or do a
Yeah.
live
Yeah.
taping
Definitely, we can do
somewhere.
something
Yeah,
like
that would be
that. Yep.
good.
All right. So, last week's poll, we did the number one reason women stop dating. Number one reason was emotional burnout and dissatisfaction.
Okay.
So that was the number one reason. Our poll for next week is, what is the main reason for your dissatisfaction with women in relationships? So that's going to be our poll for next week.
Men, be honest. We can take it.
Right. All right. So thought of the day.
Okay.
No man goes before his time unless the boss leaves early.
Facts.
I think that's for everybody.
Facts.
All right, y'all. This is Women's Talk Live Overnights with your girl, April J.
I'm your girl, SassyScribe.
And this is KL.
And we will see you next time. Bye.
I won't be in the car.
Women